Winter in northern Minnesota is beautiful. But alongside the beauty is the bitter cold. And that's what we're experiencing today. So join us as we brave one of the coldest days of the winter and still have fun in the process. This is Tiny Cabin Life. Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm starting off this video differently than I have in a very long time, doing so on the road because I just looked down at the temperature and it is negative 27 degrees outside. You know, here in Minnesota we deal with cold weather, but being down at negative 27, that's pretty legit. We're spending the day and night in Jay Cooke State Park, and oh, holy cow, we just got to negative 28. But anyway, I'm hoping we can get out and do some hiking. But first things first, we got to get in the park and get the cabin set up and get that wood stove roasting. Oh, and now we're at negative 29. Nice. Due to the amount of snow we have and the extreme cold, I reserved a campsite in the state park, which I don't really do very often. Normally I like to do dispersed camping where I'm off by myself, but that tends to be a lot more unpredictable in the winter time. Okay, so obviously the first thing we have to do is get a fire going. It is dangerously cold outside and we need some heat in here. So that's the first thing I am gonna do right now. We got the fire going. This place will really start to warm up now, but as an added bonus, because we have power for once, I brought along this big space heater that I'm going to use just to kind of supplement the heat when I need to. So right now I'm going to plug it in and we'll use it to help get the heat going in here, and I might run it overnight as well. Once the cabin heats up and we take care of some chores around here, we're going to head out and explore. The park was named after Jay Cooke, an American financier and railroad tycoon from the 19th century. It centers around the St. Louis River, which is characterized by rugged cliffs, cascading waterfalls, and the lush forest that surrounds it. Despite the cold temperatures today, there are a few things that I want to check out in the park. First, I want to go to the swinging bridge. It's a historic bridge originally built by the Civilian Conservation Corps and just offers some great views and a cool experience. Next, I want to check out the Old Pioneer Cemetery, which has grave sites that date back to the mid-1800s. And then finally, I'd love to get out on some sort of a hike today to maybe see if we can't get to a high point to get an overlook of the park as well. However, first I gotta make sure I have enough firewood cut and split to get us through the day and night. check out these hefty logs. They've been drying for the last like 3 years. We've never used them, and I think they should definitely provide some good heat. Okay, now that we got that done, I'm just gonna whip up a very quick breakfast, just some eggs and sausage, and then we'll really get outside and do some exploring. Dear God, thank you for this time out in the woods. Help us to stay warm today and safe. Amen. Nothing wrong with a little eggs and sausage, with hot sauce, of course. It's good. Just tried and true, you know? I've been enjoying having sausage instead of bacon lately. It's just nice to kind of switch things up every now and then.
Now with breakfast out of the way, it's time to get out and do some exploring.
All right, so we're gonna start off by checking out the swinging bridge, which is only just across the street here, so pretty convenient. Up here is also the historic River Inn, which is an old CCC building as well, and it now serves as the visitor center, so pretty cool. Wow, this is cool. Oh man, and look at the river down there. I am so surprised that is not completely frozen right now. And you can definitely see why this is called the swinging bridge. It's got a nice bounce to it. It's got those suspension cables from end to end. You can probably get this thing to swing. You can get it to bounce. That's pretty cool.
The swinging bridge is about 130 feet long and connects the visitor center area to the other side of the park, where there are more hiking trails. It was originally built in 1935 by the Civilian Conservation Corps during the Great Depression.
It stood for a very, very long time until 2012, when a massive flood came through here and wiped out the bridge, but they rebuilt it and kept it true to its origins with the suspension style, and I think some of the stone from the original structure remains as well. Alright, so next we're headed to the Old Pioneer Cemetery, which is just up the road here. We'll check that out for a minute and then think about getting out on a slightly longer hike, slightly, if it makes sense. Hear that train coming through? Definitely sets the mood for heading into the Pioneer Cemetery. The train was a big deal back in the day. I guess it still is today. We just don't think about it as much. Oh, so here's our first gravestone. Died November 18th, 1892. Man, oh man, I know for you guys around the world this is like recent history, but here in the United States this is pretty old. Wow. Let's see if we can find a couple more. Oh yeah, look at this one. Wife of W.S. Leach, died July 3rd, 1862. Wow, and she was 70 years old. Man, for back in those days, I don't think that was like super old, but it also wasn't like super young either. She must have lived a fairly full life. It's hard to read, but I can see 1889 right there. It's so cool to see these relics of the past and to think of the people like this who are living here. You know, we're dealing with this extremely cold weather today. Well, they had to live through that, and they couldn't just like plug into electricity. They were braving harsh conditions like that winter after winter, and they truly were pioneers who paved the way for people like us to come through later on.
Before heading out on a hike, I headed back to the cabin to make sure it was staying warm and also to make a little bit of food.
Well, it is toasty warm in here and the fire is out. Whether it went out like a couple minutes ago or a long time ago, I don't know. But it's nice to see that we're retaining some heat, and potentially this space heater is warming the place more than I realized. All right, so real quick before we head out on the trail, I'm gonna make a snack that I've never prepared before, and that is, I'm gonna make some everything bagel pretzel bites.
Alright guys, while these cook on the wood stove, I want to tell you about the sponsor of this week's video, Baseus.
More and more as Olivia grows up and as I travel, I have realized that I want to have more security both at home and on the road. And so that's why I'm testing out the Baseus Security S1 Pro. It is the world's first sun-powered tracking system camera. What that means is, you know, you see that little solar panel up there? Well, that thing will actually track with the sun, allowing it to get much more charge out of solar, so you don't have to plug it in as often. The other thing that I think is impressive is the dual lens feature that it has. The big wide shows you everything that's going on behind the cabin here, but also that tight shot, which really helps you see whoever's face is standing right outside. Your cameras will run through the H1 home station here, which has 16 gigabytes of built-in storage, up to about 3 months of video. But you can also expand that up to 16 terabytes of external storage with a hard drive. And so with this, you're not having to pay for a subscription or anything. All of your video files are stored right there in the home station. So right here, you've got the black and white infrared night vision, but this is full color night mode with the spotlight. You can also see how the app here detects someone passing by the camera and that sends that notification to your phone, which allows you to decide whether you want to interact with them or not. And this is a big deal here in Minnesota. These cameras are not only waterproof, but they're built for extreme weather, and that includes the extreme cold. And so if you guys want to check out the Baseus Security S1 Pro, all you have to do is follow the link in the description of this video. All right, let's give these a try. Ooh, they're nice and hot. Holy cow, and super soft. Wow. Cheers. Superb. It is a tad too salty. I think I probably should have limited more the amount of everything seasoning that I put on, but it's really, really good still.
After throwing another log on the fire, it was time to head out and find a short hike.
All right, guys, it's time for the last little trail of the day. We're gonna head up to Oldenburg Point, which should give us some great views of the St. Louis River, but there are also some other old CCC structures up there as well, and so it should be a good spot to just get out, stretch the legs one last time before we sort of settle in to camp for the night.
As soon as we get out of the car, we're greeted by the old civilian conservation corps structures built in the 1930s. This one was an old water tower, but is now used for restrooms during the warmer seasons. And then just next door is the old picnic pavilion, which has just an awesome classic look to it. But we're hitting a trail to see if we can't catch a couple overlooks of the St. Louis River Valley.
That is gorgeous. Holy cow. Well, guys, I just noticed that Ellie lost one of her boots, and I don't see it on the trail here. Must have happened in some deeper snow. That's a bummer. It's certainly gonna cut our hike a little bit shorter. There's a further overlook that I wanted to get to. I don't know if we're gonna do it or not. We'll see. Oh man. Wow. So I think this right here is the Oldenburg Point. Certainly seems like it. You've got just a massive view here down towards the river. We can see some water flowing. It's spectacular. These are unique places in our state where you really get some major topographical changes, and the rolling hills we have in front of us are kind of the prelude to the Sawtooth Mountains, which you see on the North Shore. In fact, the Superior Hiking Trail goes through here, and that eventually traverses the Sawtooth Mountains and makes its way all the way up to Canada. And with Duluth just over the hill, this definitely feels like the beginning of the North Shore region. Oh, would you look at that. Got her boot back. We're lucky, Al. You definitely have taken to those boots. So they'll live to hike another day. Well, my original plan was to make a pizza and bake it over the campfire. But now that I'm out here, I just think that's gonna require too much wood to really get some solid coals going. The ice that was built up on the bottom of the campfire here is melting, and it's turning it into like kind of like a soupy mess. And so all of our coals are being put out by that water, which is sitting on the bottom. You can see we've got a few in the center there, but anything on the edges is just being put out immediately, and I have to imagine that once those fully sink down to the bottom, they'll go out as well. I think we're gonna have to wing it inside the cabin. I'm sure we'll be able to bake it just the same. I just was hoping we could do it over the campfire. See how this goes. All right, well, we'll find out soon. It's certainly hot enough in there. I just hope it doesn't burn. We shall see. Oh man, that looks incredible. So you can see there's a little bit of char on the bottom there, but for the most part, this is so good. Everything mixed together perfectly. You've got the pepperoni, the green peppers and onions. It's perfection. You can sort of taste that char a little bit, but it's not too bad, honestly.
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void.
I love the old Universal monster movies, but I feel like this one is like extra cool because it was really one of the first big science fiction movies. It's definitely a little eerie and very cool. Good morning. It's about 6:30 a.m. I could definitely keep sleeping, but I think I should get up. It's pretty awesome. I didn't make a fire all night. I let it burn out, and the space heater has been heating this place like no problem. I want to say it's probably in the low 60s in here, but like for how cold it is outside, it's like 10 below. That's like amazing. Go on, girl. Oh my gosh. Ellie's water just froze over completely. That's just so crazy. It shows the difference in the temperature down, low versus up higher. But honestly, it doesn't feel like it's 30 degrees down there. So that's really, really weird. Now, I think after seeing that, I'm going to make a fire. Just for while we have coffee and pack out of here. We have a steamy negative 13 degrees this morning. So it seems like we're having a little bit of a heat wave. But thankfully it's nice and toasty in here, especially with our fire roaring over there. So just gonna enjoy a little bit of coffee and watch that sun come up. Alright everybody, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for coming along. It was brutal. The temperature was extremely cold, but you know what? We were still able to get out and experience this incredible park. And I just think it's so cool how week after week we're able to find new places to go, and I'm honored to be able to bring you along. I want to give a special shout out to our patrons who generously donate to this channel. Thank you. But again, to all of you who watch this channel, you make it so that we're able to do these videos on a weekly basis, and I'm so incredibly grateful. But you guys know the drill with that. It's time for me to get home to the family. I'll see you next week. God bless.